All right, Chapter 26, Class 1, Chapter 26, Field Manual 1067-1, Chapter 26, Class Series 3, Supply Points. Chapter covered the movement, establishment, arrangement of the operation, tactical class 3 supply of the points, all example, concern with the number of the personnel and equipment are equipped with the supply of the section of the petroleum supply company. Although the personnel and equipment will manage the chain with the you consider for the example of the quartermaster supply company, the principal techniques will remain the same. Section 1, movement, the planning. Before you begin with the movement and with the development plan, you will need to make sure that you have all personnel with equipment on hand before beginning with the move of the supply point. Find out how much time you will have in which to prepare your crew and equip them for the move. There are some tasks that you should be taken care of before you move that include the surveying of the area you will move, to coordinate with the engineer unit with the development flow plan. There's tasks described in the following paragraphs. Take an area survey, go over the area of the supply point will be located, decide where the points for the entry supply point with the true arrangement of the fuel supply system that fits for the situation and terrain. Also supply where you want the truck of the parking bulk storage, 50,000 gallon collapsible tank of the bulk reduction storage area with the other bulk reduction equipment. Coordinate with the engineer support. You will go look over the area for the first time with a member of the engineer unit with you. After you achieve the site of each of the part of the supply point, you give the information through the engineer's unit. For information for the engineer can prepare the individual tank site with the remove of the underbrush for the bulk reduction area of the clear truck with the parking area to remove. But build and improve the road through the site if one is needed. If you do not have the engineer support, units need to prepare the site before you start setting up the equipment at the new site. Developing a PERT plan. After the flow, you select the specific parts of the Class 3 supply point. Develop the flow plan that you do, but do not handle the products in containers more than you have to. Figure 26.1 and page 26.2 show the suggested flow plan. The flow plans to identify the steps that will eliminate with the combined with the chain to make operation most efficient. Can also show the unnecessary delay with the handling and transportation. Develop the plan. Consider a location of bulk storage package product with the bulk reduction. Can and drum cleaning areas also consider the flow of the traffic through the supply point. Only one way traffic should be permitted into the supply point. Study of the area, make up the flow plan before the supply point move to the new location. Personnel, make sure all the personnel on hand move to the new site of the table 26.1, page 26.2, show the personnel with the need to operate the Class 3 supply point. Table show the use of the strength level of the supply section and the petroleum supply company. In some situation, you will have the augmented personnel with the usual strength consists of a section chief, the assistant section chief, and 31 crew members. Equipment, make sure the Class 3 supply point equipment is on hand, ready for you for the items that are not working properly. Try to have them repaired or replaced before you move. Table 26.2 and page 26.3, list of the major items of equipment that it takes to operate the Class 3 supply point. The equipment may vary according to the situation. Make sure that you have the necessary vehicle needed to transport the equipment to the new site. Table 26.3 and page 26.3, list of the vehicles you need. Show the buyback area, main supply, package product, storage area. Control point, truck parking area, bulk storage area, bulks, production area, cleaning and drum cleaning area, package product, storage area, trucking, parking area, control point, and railroad. Table 26.1, personnel need to operate Class 3 supply point based on the petroleum supply section, petroleum supply company, section chief, petroleum high vehicle operator, petroleum inventory, petroleum heavy vehicle operator, petroleum supply specialist, and the number. Equipment of the required to operate the Class 3 supply point based on petroleum section, petroleum supply company, and then table 26 vehicles needed to transport equipment to Class 3 supply point. Loading plan. Prepare a loading plan with the move of the supply point. Your plan with the loading of the personnel equipment should be applied with every type of the transport that may be with the movement, the bank with the plan, with the move with all out, with the time of the packing, with the make sure of the plan, with the type of the transport to be used, with the number of the personnel involved, with the type, the size, with the weight, with the quantity of supply, with the equipment to be moved. When the preparing of the plan, consider a priority of loading and safety of the equipment to supply within transit, the design of the plan, with the permit, quick and orderly unload, regrouping the personal equipment on the one, so the equipment is loaded, make sure that it's properly secured, with the make sure the pumps are braced and locked and tied. Movement methods. Moving and displacing the supply point, consider taking it down once applied for the loading of the transport, moving it to a new site. Of the two ways you can do this: one, you depend on the situation. One of the ways to move the entire supply point to the new site. The other is to move the leapfrog, but this means you have one half of the fuel system supplied at the new site, with the left leave the other half of the old site, give the limited service. And this way, we support the use of the uninterrupted during the move to divide the system in half. The first thing you do when moving the transport product, the supply point fuel transfer. Tell the driver of the vehicles how to get to the new site, meeting at the point of the exchange with the trailers and transfer the load with the other tanker vehicles. You can also use the transport store with the issue product with a temporary base for the old new supply points. You can also start to take down the supply point just as soon as you move the fuel. Sequence in which you take down the equipment should be based on the requirements of the old and new site. Usually with the dismantle fuel system supply point first, unless you are using a leapfrog method. In this case, it's important you work quickly once an order is given and you are concerned with the get the new site as soon as possible and get out set up. Equipment movement. You can take it down with the equipment and move without following the procedure step and the guidelines. Do it as simply quick as you can, but as avoid and spills and accident. 3 items you will need the special attention of the fuel system supply point of the 50,000 gallon collapsible tank. And the air system in the chapter 15 tells you more about the air system and movement and the other items and discussed below. Your fuel system supply point. First, drain with the fuel from the collapsible tank with a hose line. Check with the valve of each of the tanks so that the fuel does not flow back into the tanks. Place container under each of the tank. Drain port with the drain the fuel fluid and left it in the tank. Slow with the tanks in there carrying case. Now start with the receiving point. Drain with the fuel from the receiving side of the system with the discharge side. Keep the discharge pump running with the suction. Disconnect with the hose line with the store with the container when available. To be sure that it's installed with all dust and plugs on with the hose assembly with the dismantle them. Disconnect the discharge pump with the discharge. Drain the fuel with the hose with the assemblies with the discharge side of the system. Disconnect with the hose assembly. Place them in the containers when available. 50,000 gallon collapsible tank. First drain of the tank with the use of the 350 gallon pumping assembly for the suction. Disconnect the under of the tank with the drain, the port with the drain, the fuel left in the tank with the place with the container under the tank, drain, port with the drain, the fuel left in the tank, then the train and the fuel through the hose line and disconnect them and place with the canvas bags. Section 2, site selection of chapter 26. Testing, taking a cut there.